What's going on, y'all? What's up, people? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? We got to talk about the DDG situation because apparently DDG fell in love with another lady and he tried to get off the woman he has a child with. We know that she's crazy. We know she's an A-list celebrity. He got with her a few years back, and DDG is not where he's at right now. And I told you guys that when you meet a woman, you have to be upfront with her. You have to let her know where you stand at so that there will be no mishap. Now, it's interesting that Myron Gaines talked about the situation because he was telling some truth about how once you reach that plateau, you become successful. The woman, for the most part, will do Houdini. She feels threatened by your growth. And all of a sudden, she forces you to bow down to her. See, honestly speaking, when you meet a woman and she's already set for life, and you as a man is not even a tenth of where she's at, she, for the most part, is going to try to see how far you go. It's when you reach a pinnacle, you reach a peak, that's when you're going to have a hard time keeping women around. And the truth of the matter is, guys, it's hard to keep a woman around when you become fully successful, if that makes sense. Let me ask you guys this question. Let me ask you this question. When you're not making that much funds, ain't it interesting that most women are more interested in you when you're not to your pinnacle, when you're not to the level you're supposed to be? All of a sudden, when you start becoming high-end earner, believe it or not, most men that's high-end earner have a little bit more difficult to keep a woman around than a guy that's not a high-end earner. You have to ask yourself this question. Why did India Ari decided to deal with DDG's friend? And he's not even on the level of DDG. And this is why I've been telling you guys, when it comes to these ladies, for the most part, it's not about how much you have, it's how much control she could have on you. And once DDG got out of that mechanism, he started, getting to the serious money. See, most men have not ever had that opportunity to have serious money. There's a level to that, y'all. You have what is called day by day money. Majority of people in America, as a man, you have day by day money. When you can get to a point that you don't have to touch your check. In this case, DDG don't even have to touch his streaming check. Listen, when it gets to a point, you don't have to touch your streaming check. You don't have to touch your 9 to 5 check. I'm going to explain this to you the best way I can. Guys, when you don't have to touch your check, however you get it, the right way, the woman is going to be going crazy. She's going to crash out. And I told y'all I dealt with this before. I experienced this. When I didn't really have too much, there was not much of an issue. There was a lot more. Matter of fact, honestly speaking, I get more women to cooperate with me. As strange as it sounds, you may think, well, that's no way. I have more women cooperate with me more when I didn't have too much in my pocket than when I figured things out. There's no woman to be found in sight. So most of you guys be wondering why she'll go with a guy that ain't got nothing going on, because that's how she met DDG. You know, old girl met DDG when he ain't had too much going on. He was doing okay on social media, not to where he's at now. And some of these people on social media is doing greater than the A-list celebrities. No cap. Like most of these content creators, especially these streamers, they doing way better than the celebs. Why do you think the celebs is on podcasts now? They doing podcasts, or they on these streaming, because that's where the money at. It's no longer performing. Performing or not making as much as somebody on the internet. You could have a smaller YouTuber. You just don't know. It's just what it is. There's some small YouTubers that's very successful, believe it or not. They may not have the plaque, they may not have the reach, yet they get a lot of support. You know, every time they go live, boom, Cash App ringing, Super Chat ringing, the views ringing. Everybody get their time. So what I'm trying to get you to see is his numbers started skyrocketing. And once you saw that his numbers started skyrocketing, other women came on in. She couldn't deal with that because she met him when he was not even getting that much attention. See, guys, when the ladies start seeing you get much attention, that's when they pull back. That's when they do Houdini. That's when they want to get you caught up in a trap. They would rather you have nothing in your pocket and take care of you for the rest of your life, believe it or not. Take care of you for the rest of your life. Then you start making serious paper, traveling the world, linking, networking. Oh, that bothers most of these ladies. So my advice, fellas, get yourself situated to whereas, Lord forbid, you don't have to depend on a woman, if that makes sense. Some of you guys, before you got to where you at, you dealt with a woman, you was paycheck to paycheck. Some of you that rock on my platform, I'm not getting into your business. I'm just saying that there's some of you guys that's doing better than most content creators, honestly speaking. Some of you don't even have to touch a check. Some of you guys right now don't have to touch a check. Some of us, we have to touch our check. Let me ask you this question. Let me ask you the men this question. Let me ask you this serious question, fellas. Wouldn't it be nice? You could get up, you go to the site, or you stream it, and you don't have to touch your check for a year. I know people now that don't even have to touch their check for a year. Their check is going straight to the bank, straight to the bank, straight to the bank. And I used to love doing that. I used to love when I got paid, boom, it just goes straight to my man. It's no better feeling that you can get up, you don't have to touch your check. That's your emergency. You just go to work just because you want to have a saving for a year or two. There's some people that got 2 years saving, 3 years savings right now. No cap. There's some people like that, man. And that takes a lot of dedication and discipline. So what you can learn from this DDG situation is that you could be at your low point. Every woman calling you, every woman texting you, every woman messaging you, every woman want to get up with you. Start making 1,000 or more, 5,000 or more. Then you go to 10,000 or more, 20,000 or more, and the numbers keep going up and up and up to a point that it's not even about money. You just doing it because you love doing it, and you just have a check just for your future generation. Uh, Most women cannot see you win, guys, 100%. There's occasions, yet let's keep it real. The average man, you know what? I'm going to have to do it. Let's see what the average black man is making a year. We're going to have to do culture by culture. Give me 1 second. Let me get it set up. Make sure y'all like hit the like button if you want to support the Cash App. The Cash App is pinned to the top. Did I do that already? Yeah, I did that already. Okay. Let me do this. Black man average salary. Here we go. We're going to have to do this now. Okay, this is what they're saying. This could be correct. This could be correct. Let me see what you guys think about this. Let's get to it. All right. The average salary for black men is 1,017 per week. All right, let's go to Latino men. Oh, I won't say. I'm doing it wrong. I have to say Spanish men. Oh, that's going to be Spain. Oh, that's not going to work. Let me do white men. White men average salary. Okay, so wait, 64,636, while the average Hispanic or Latino male makes 47,996. With the annual inflation rate for 2023 at 3.4% for the year, up from 3.1 previously, salaries are in keeper. Okay. Let's see what this says here. I'm going to have to, let's see if this works. Okay. Let's do this here. Okay, let's go this. Okay. The average income, white non-Hispanic, 82,000. Median income, that's the low tier. Average is what they consider middle. Okay. All right. So white non-Hispanic, 82,308 on average. Medium income on the low part, 58,802. Top 1% income, close to $500,000. Okay. So-called blacks. The average income is 57,836. The lowest, they say, on average, is 43,690. He's at near 285,000 as the top 1% income. Okay. The natives, 53,718 on average, 40,000 on the low end. On the top 1%, 254,000. Okay. We just averaging off. Asians, they're the ones who's making the most right now. 95,408, 65,000 median income on the low part, which is still considered high, and $530,106. Pacific Islander, meaning the Caribbeans. Okay, Caribbeans is making more, a little bit more, 54,582, 40,050 on the low end, and top 1% is 260,000. So they making more. Two or more races. Let's get to it. They're making 60,768 on the low end, 42,000, and top 1%, the most is $369,302. Ooh, wee. Hispanic or Latino of any race. They said the average income is 50,547. Okay, 37,000. Median income, top 1%, 265,002. So the average man, okay, hold on, I'm back. The average man right now, okay, is making $1,037. The average man is making $1,037. So let's do that times 52. Let me get the calculator. Let's get to it. Calculator. 1,037 times 52. Let's do 26 weeks because every 2 weeks. Mostly everybody's making every 2 weeks. If you're making $1,037, this is how much you get for the end of the year. Because most people's getting every 2 weeks. I got to deal with the reality is not everybody's getting paid every week. Okay, let's do this. You bring home $26,962. You're on the right line. If you're a so-called black man and you're making every 2 weeks 1,037, you're making $26,962 on average. That's what the average so-called black man makes a year. He's not even considered average or low income. Low income, you're supposed to be at least 40,000 or more. You know, so there was a time that DDG was making this a year. He wasn't making that much streaming back then until he stopped doing, streaming for a bit. Then he got into the rap thing. He got a buzz, and then he met Old Girl. Old Girl, when he met Old Girl, that's when his name started, being known because of who she is. He got an A-list celebrity lady. So she thought he was going to be on the bottom forever. She thought that until 2 years down the road, he blew up. Some of you guys right now, you just getting by, right? You're getting by check to check. No woman is checking you out like that. Unless she feels sorry for you. Because most women be feeling sorry for men, and they'll get with you just because they feel sorry, because the man that they want don't want them right now. You know what I'm saying? So if the man that they want don't want them right now because he's not available, he's not emotionally available, she'll give you a chance. And I think that's what happened to DDG. She gave him a chance because no other man in the industry wanted her. They just wanted to hit it from the back and keep it pushing. So he was just like, man, I got me an A-list celebrity, man. Why not? Not knowing the whole enchilada of what's to come. The personality. Because they're very good of how they actual personality until you start blowing up. How many of you men that's doing so well for yourself and you're wondering why these ladies giving you a hard time. Some of the ladies can say that for themselves. They're doing well. They have a hard time finding a man. And that's true. It's very hard for a woman that's well off to find a man too, for the most part. I will agree with that, especially now with the climax of what's going on. Yeah, I could agree with that. You rarely see a woman that has so much going on in her life will date down. So she happened to do it. Did she wanted to do it? No. He probably persisted and she just felt sorry for him and boned him in. That's how most women will tell you later on. They don't tell you that up front. They'll tell you that later on. You know, if it wasn't for me, you would not have these women right now. They'll tell you that. So we got Forever Studio, we got Benny, we got Corey, we got Italian Mama. What's up, fellas? DDG got with India Ari, and India Ari was dealing with DDG's friend. That's not popular. So what does that mean, guys? No matter how much great stuff you got going on, a woman can still walk away from you any given time once you reach that pinnacle. Unless she's like, you know what, I don't wanna lose out on this because I might not get another man like that. 9 times out of 10, she may not do it because they could get with another guy. The problem is that other guy ain't gonna stay around. And then within a couple of years, she realized how much she missed the commitment of the dude that was on point. So that's when they come back and circle the block saying, I want you to be with me again. And so I would not rush, man. Once I become real successful and there's no woman involved in my success, I'm just going to be just taking it one day at a time. I'm not rushing to get married, none of that stuff, man. Because, like, I did what I had to do, you know what I'm saying? And one thing Myron said is true. Building a relationship with a woman, especially if she's well off, you're going to have problems in the long haul. It's very rare that she will not put it in your face. So that's very rare you may come across a woman like that. Yet majority of them that's well off, some of them, they'll let you know about yourself. It depends on the connection you have with her. I was with a millionaire woman. She was multi-millionaire on Wall Street. We was together for like almost 2 years. And once I started getting more into the high earning in Wall Street, Goldman Sachs, and she started seeing other women wanting me, she was like, no, I'm going to have to end this. And she made sure other women didn't want to get up with me. She didn't want me to be with other women. She felt like if it wasn't for me, she wouldn't put me on to certain things I would not know about these women. It's just the control, you know? And she was an Irish woman. Yeah, Irish. She was Irish. Yep, it is what it is. At this point, y'all, DDG needs to chill. I don't think he should be going from woman to woman to woman because his mind is not there, and these women are just giving it up to him because of his popularity. Let's just keep it real. Some of you might come across woman. She just want to have intercourse with you. She don't want to be committed. You got to remember, man, in this day of time, most women don't want to be committed. They want to have their space. They want to have their peace to themselves. You got to let them do what's in their best interest. They don't fall for love like Coach Greg Adams say, man. The dude is trying to remove his baby moms. It don't work like that. You gotta let the women's are not there to be there long term. They coming for the moment. That's it. You gotta just accept it for what it is. I know it's tough. I know it's tough. It's hard, but you're gonna have to accept it. And most men cannot accept a woman leaving them for somebody that ain't got nothing going on in their life. I dealt with it. You know what I'm saying? I dealt with it before. And I realized that any given moment, a woman could walk away. You should not lose your sanity because you walk away. You know, that's why you got to be active. You got to have a hobby. You got to have, because you before you met her, you had a hobby. So why would you stop doing what you're doing because you met her? I just believe that DDG stopped doing what he was doing. And then when he was with Ndari on TikTok, it was so fake by her. At the same time, he felt like she was into him. No, she was putting on a great show. You was the one that was on her list. Now you got most women that got a list, fellas. You know, they got a list of men that they want to sleep with or thought about marrying. It's a lot that comes with this. And the only ones that get to see this is men of means. They get to see the real nature of a woman. You guys that's doing okay, like me doing okay, I already experienced both worlds. So I know what it's like to be successful in running a business and seeing how women threw themselves at me. At the same time, it was only temporarily. They wasn't in it for the long haul. They was like, look, you on my list. I want you to hit it and let me be. That's what they was that was the vibes they was giving me. Because if you didn't come into it with both of y'all moving up the ladder, 9 times out of 10, it may not work out. You know what I'm saying? So to my high earners that's doing very well, you're gonna have to talk to a lot of women. You're gonna have to talk to a lot of women, and the more women you talk to, the better off you are cutting off the nonsense. You know what I'm saying? Till you get to the one who really wants to deal with you. You know, uh, it's very difficult. It can be very difficult because you don't know what to expect. One minute she into you, she's all over you, she grabbing your hands, she pulling your hair in a nice gesture if you with her, or you bald head, she just rubbing your bald head for great wishes and all that other stuff. Next thing you know, she could be venom. She could be upset the next day. Her mood swings change. You know, you be surprised how much men of means go through a lot just for a woman to be with them. You guys that ain't got too much going on, you have you have more women in your face. What? Let me say this: when you're not making as much, you're gonna have more women in your face. Start making more money, like I did. Some of you guys do. You're not gonna have that much women in your face. How many of you? 2025 IR. How many of you will agree with that? If you guys agree with that, put a 5 in the chat. That when you're not making as much, you got more women in your face. You got a lot of women in your face. Now, when you making a lot, the conversations are less. The less she's into you. She just want to get it on with you for a season or two, and then she want to try out the next man. That's what be going on for the most part, guys. There's no more marriage and commitment like it used to be. It's not. You have Keith Sweat talking about it's hard for him to be committed to a woman because there's no real love and compassion in a woman's eyes no more. And he's right about that. He's right about that. So, he got a big woman support base. He gonna lose 85 to 90% of that was speaking real. See, it's two-edged sword, guys. It's a two-edged sword. When it comes to business, like for me personally, when we get down to the nitty-gritty, we got China to 100. When we get down to the nitty-gritty of what's going on, right? Most women are waiting for you to get to that next step. That's when they all gonna call you. You see, they're not gonna call you while you on your journey. They're gonna call you when you get to that peak. That's when they're gonna call your cell phone. That's when they're gonna call your phone. The guy that's not doing anything, he gonna have all the women in his face. Why you think the cleaner man, the man at the restaurant, he could bag a woman of means and bang her out? You know what I'm saying? She says a rich man has many friends, but a poor man has none. Or actually, a poor man has more friends than rich. Than rich. See, when Solomon was talking about that, he was talking about business wise. He wasn't talking about relationship. See that's the thing. Like a rich man has many friends because he's popular. He got money. He got access. Of course, he gonna have a lot of friends. A poor man has no friends because he don't have nothing to provide. What does a poor man have to provide? Let me ask you this question: what does a poor man have to provide? A poor man don't have anything to provide. We're not supposed to be poor. So yes, it's true. Poor men don't have friends. He don't have acquaintances. That doesn't mean he don't have a woman, because there's a lot of men that are not rich have more kids than rich men. There's a lot of men who are not successful have a lot of children than rich men. So we have to be straight up with what's going on. That scripture is more of when Solomon was at his top rank. He had so many friends, so many people wanted to see him because of his name ring bells. When your name ring bells, everybody want to touch you. But if you ain't got nothing to show, nobody want to be around you. So that's what happened. There was a time Solomon was not even talked about. Remember, his father David was reigning. Solomon was just a young man doing what young men do until David, before he passed away, he was told to give the rings to Solomon. So a lot of men that don't have too much going on have a lot of women, y'all. I'm gonna tell you this right now. A lot of men that don't have too much going on have a lot of women in their face. When I was running my business, I barely see women. There was like maybe once a week, twice out of the week. When you working a 9 to 5 and you just getting by, you see more women than the guy who's so successful. Ask a guy who's very successful how often he got time to meet a woman. He barely got time to have a long conversation with a woman. I noticed that men that don't got too much going on, they get more coochie than the men that's rich. Y'all be thinking that rich men get a lot of coochie. No, they don't. Not like that. Not on the frequency. Look, the guy that collects the garbage, he see more women in the street than the guy that's pushing a Ferrari. I'm gonna say that again. The man that is collecting garbage sees more women have more opportunities to get a woman attention than a guy in a Ferrari. Even a woman will agree with that. Even you ladies that's viewing in the clouds in the chat will agree with that. Let me ask you ladies in the chat, who you see more? Men with barely money or men with money? When you out and about every day, when you out and about every day, moderator, get rid of this troll. Get rid of this troll. Get rid of this demon. I got any mods, block this demon. I'm not gonna even respond to this demon. Just block the demon. Let me see if I gotta block the demon. Because the demon don't even know what's going on. The demon coming in here with the nonsense. I don't got time for demon talk. I want the demon out of here. Pack this demon on out of here. It's crazy. It's crazy that the demon coming in here trying to just do Discord. You see what I got to deal with?
Imagine throwing a No King's Day protest when you're part.
You see what I got to deal with? Let me get this. Let me get this straight now. Hold on. Let me go to my other phone. Let me go to my other phone and block this person. I don't got time for demons. Let me see if the person's gone. Okay, moderator must have got my person. The person is packed up out of here. Thank you, moderators. Whoever got that demon on out of here. Like I was saying, right? Now I lost track. What did I say before the demon came in here with the nonsense? I forgot what I said, man. I really forgot what I said. DDG was at the low end of wages. Women see more men who's not doing well for themselves on the street. I remember what I said. I'm asking the ladies this question. What kind of men you see on a daily basis? You ain't going to see a man with a Ferrari. You're not going to see a man with a Range Rover. You're going to see a man on average on the bus, or he has a hoopty. You're not going to come across a man that's very successful because he's too busy. Unless you're in those circles with other women. Unless you have access to those men, you're not going to see those type of men. Even when it comes to the internet. You think you have a chance. No, the more successful the guy is, the less he's going to reach out to you. It's only the men who are not successful that will read your comment, read your DM quickly. Let me teach you guys something because I want you to listen. Because DDG, I know he's watching. Guys, the more purpose you have, the less time you got to read. You read the comments. You read your DMs. Y'all don't realize how serious this is. People that are very busy is not going to have time to read all you women's messages. The only one that's going to read your message and spend time with you on the phone, spend time with you behind the scenes is a guy that don't got nothing going on with their life. And women know I'm telling the truth. Because if every man has something going on in his life, we will not see the promiscuous we're seeing right now in the world. If every man has something going on in his life, we will not see the promiscuous behavior. The elites know that. So they designed men to not be busy so that you could you procreate more children into the system, if that makes sense. So the average woman is not going to see a man that's well off. That's why you need to talk with someone that's in your bracket. Now, if you ask me which one is who has the harder time to get a date, the woman that's successful don't have a hard time getting a date. Guess what? The man that's successful have a hard time getting a date. Believe it or not, the man that's very successful have a hard time getting a date than a guy who's not successful. As weird as it sounds, you would think, Rollo, there's no way. No. We're going to get to a video in a second. Because the truth of the matter is, it's not about the money. It's about control. How much control are you willing to give her? It's going to determine if she wants to be with you or not. How much control are you willing to give her? Because honestly, when you get with a woman, she has a piece of you. She has some say over you. You know what I'm saying? So this is a serious discussion. And so DDG was not where he at now. You think that if she do it all over again, she ain't gonna let no other man come up on her and use her name, and then she see him with another woman? Oh, hell no. You got to be very mindful, man. What you get yourself involved in. So men that's not very successful got more time with women than men that's successful. Ain't no man that's successful got time with 100 women. You know what I'm saying? Don't believe the hype. Don't believe he have more women hitting him up on the. That's a fact. If you the more successful you are on the internet, yes, more women gonna hit you up. Here's the thing: he's not talking to every woman. You think these guys that is very successful talking to all these women on the internet? Hell no. It's the dudes with no money. It's the dudes with no money, or he's paycheck to paycheck. He's conversating with the woman. He's telling her what he want to hear. And DDG was doing that at one time. We got to keep it real. DDG was, pillow talking with old girl at the time before he got successful. Once you dudes get serious money, you switch up. You got a pep in your step. You got more money coming in. You ain't trying to hear what nobody got to say. You ain't trying to hear what these women got to say. You know what I'm saying? You're like, man, I got this far. I'm not letting no woman get between with me and my money. You know? So let's get to the video. And tomorrow is Forever Studios B-Day. If you can't support Forever Studio tomorrow for whatever reason, you know what I'm saying? When y'all do get time, support the man. The young brother's birthday is tomorrow. I don't know when he's going live. When he does, I will definitely be sharing the video because he come a long way doing this thing. I don't know why I don't see you in my live chat on my phone. That's weird. I don't see Forever Studio. Okay, I see it now. My phone is acting weird. My phone was acting weird. My chat is acting weird. Wow. That's crazy. Okay, I see you in the building now. That's crazy. If it's not this restream, it's my phone. I can't see the stream. That happened to Ringo earlier today, too. Okay. Okay. Let me do something here. Make sure y'all get the lights up. Get the lights up in the video, y'all. I appreciate y'all like the video. Uh, Broke men get more women. I'm gonna show y'all something. I'm gonna let her tell you. I found her. Uh, I'm gonna let. How many minutes? Okay, we'll deal with her in a second. Let me go to this one first, cause she's 30 minutes. All right, y'all. If I'm gonna go over my time restraint, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. If I'm gonna go over my time restraint, we got to get 2 cash apps. We got to get 2 cash apps if I'm gonna go over my time restraint. I'm not. It's two videos that's long. Out of respect, if you haven't support in a minute, notice what I said. If you haven't support in a minute, hit the cash app. Let's get 2 cash apps, y'all, before I start the show. Before I start the show, we got to get 2 cash apps. We're already 48 minutes in. All right. We need 2 contributors. So hit the cash app because we're gonna have. If y'all want me to break it down and stay on for an extra hour, because it's gonna take a minute. You know what I'm saying? Or I could just put it in members only. I could go to members only. I could turn this off, talk a little bit with it, and just put it for members only. So the decision is yours. The decision is yours. The reason why I say that is because I'm on time restraint. I got a lot of things to do. So if y'all want me to push that, then let's get 2 cash apps. So I'm gonna give y'all some time. So let's do a little bit of this and let's see what she says. Hold on 1 second. All right, let me get it set up. Get it set up right now. All right.
Today we're talking about the behaviors and things that are going to make you attract lacy, dusty men that are definitely not high value. And before we get into the video, I want to make it very clear that just because you do any of this does not mean that you have to change, because some of the things that I'm going to be listing are not necessarily things that you need to change. You just need to be aware that they will attract a certain type of man so that you become aware of the pattern of how men operate. And one thing I also want to say, being pretty, being a beautiful woman in general will make you attract all types of men.
That's not true. That's not true. Attractive women have it a lot more difficult than the woman that's not attractive. She's because she got certain things on her face, and that adds up 2 points, 3 points. We don't know how she really looked without the makeup. That's when you're gonna know how the woman really looks. There are attractive women that don't need to wear makeup. Some they need to wear makeup to enhance their chances. The point is that a lot of attractive women have it just as hard as the women that's not attractive. Men in 2025 is not looking for attractive women like they was back in the days. And how I know that is because it's a lot of attractive women are crashing out. I just don't show that. You know what I'm saying? I see it on X. I see it on what's the thing that the women use. I'm trying to think of the website. TikTok. A lot of attractive women be crashing out. So I disagree with her on that. If they do get attention, it's the attention that they don't want.
So this video is not so much about telling you what you shouldn't be doing. I want you girls to know exactly the behavior that these men look for and the behaviors that are maybe something that you need to change, but also behavior that you just need to be aware of is gonna attract men of a certain type. And that does not mean that you need to change everything about yourself. It means that you need to be more vigilant. The first thing that will make you attract low value men or dusty men in general is being very open and upfront about the fact that you are a low maintenance woman and you don't require that much maintenance. I'm not someone who likes to wear makeup. Like I'm a cool girl. Like I like to hang around the boys. Like I'm a tomboy. I don't really need makeup. I don't really need all of this. I don't really care about handbags or shoes or shopping. I don't care about that stuff. I care about love. Because broke men, the only thing that they can commodify is actually their love. They will try to.
And there's truth to that. There's truth to that because he's not confident and secure of his financial situation. So he will love bomb you if you allow him to love bomb you. Then yes, there's a chance that he's going to do that. Look at the prisoners. You'd be like, why is these women going after prisoners? Because the prisoner men be keeping them afloat than the guys who have money. Okay, so she's telling the truth so far.
Sell that like a sleazy salesman to you as if it's some great grand big thing. And if you make it clear from the very beginning that you're not a materialistic girly and you don't care about materials at all, especially if you make it a big thing to be on some, well, I don't wear makeup, I don't need to do my hair, these men will be like, oh yeah, I don't need to put any effort into you. You don't require going on dates. You don't require flowers. Very easy maintenance. And I'm going to get a lot in return because.
Yeah. There's some truth to that. Yeah. Most men are not going to put effort into you if you don't require it a lot. So she's right about that. She's right about that. Some women will kind of lower their standards just so they can have somebody for the time being. That doesn't mean she's going to stay around, though. Anyway, let's go.
Because I can sell her this idea of love, and that means I can get her to stick around.
At Tires Plus, get
below the bare minimum and you still feel like it's a good deal. He gets a lot and you get to feel like there's some man who loves you. But in reality, that's usually the type of man that's also just using a woman to get to a better place in his life so he can actually afford the woman who is saying, you know what, I want more. I want my hair done. I want my nails done. I want to look good. I want to have a soft life. Because men secretly really want that woman. But a lot of the times, the reason they say they hate gold diggers is because they don't have any gold to dig and they don't.
She's not lying. She's not lying. If the man was on point, he'll get with the gold digger. That's a fact. I'm laughing seriously. We have seen this from time to time. Once the man got his money together, he going after that woman that didn't want him at first. He would leave the woman who showed gratitude, put up with his nonsense. He'll cut her loose and get with the gold digger. That's a fact. She ain't lying. Probably happened to her. That's why she's talking about it. Let's go.
Like the fact that they can't have access to that woman. So what they do is that they find a woman who doesn't require much and then they leech off of her till they have enough so that they can go out and get the woman that they truly wanted. Because the big secret is femininity is actually demanding energy. Pretty privilege is demanding energy, demanding things. And men love giving women things. They just hate it when they don't have enough. And when they don't have enough, they use that woman who doesn't care about materials to get to a higher level. And then they leave her because she reminds them of their struggle.
Ooh. Well, she said a mouthful there. There's some truth to that. You rarely see a man stay with a woman once he makes it. Uh, yeah. I I hear that.
She reminds them that he didn't do enough. The next thing that's gonna make you a big target for dusty men is living alone and having things going on for yourself. Whether that is you're someone who runs your own social media page, you're someone, you have a job, you're in school, you have your own apartment, you have things going. And having things going for you can be very much different levels because depending on how dusty and bummy he is, he's gonna see you literally living with roommates as like a come up for him. This is also why it's very good not to flex too much that you are Miss Independent and you can do everything yourself and you don't need a man's help for anything. I would actually say that in many cases, even if you are someone who lives alone and you're trying to go out and date to figure out whether there's a high value man, I would always say that it might be better for you to list that you are living with a friend or you are living with a family member. And I'm not saying you need to do this in every case, but especially if you are out in trashy environments and some man is trying to talk to you like if you're at a really, really loud bar or whatever because you're out with your girlfriends, which you should be.
Now, let me say this. I'm gonna say this, and we're gonna get into it, guys. The men that's doing well don't even say nothing to a woman at the bar. The men that's constantly talking to every woman in the bar, yes, he's broke. He's broke. If you're a dude that's talking to every woman that passing by, you broke. The women know if you don't talk to them in the bar or club and you're doing your own thing, that means you're on your way to being successful and you're not entertaining her, that's going to bring your high sexual value market up even more. If you're talking to every woman you meet on Instagram, the more you do that, the more broke you are. If that makes sense. Men that's doing very well don't got time to be talking to every woman. She's going to make the pursuing. She's going to call him. He's not going to call her like that. Does that make sense now? Can we agree when you ain't got too much going on in your life, you're calling a woman all the time. You're calling her. You're thinking about her. When you're busy, you ain't thinking about her. You got too much going on around you to be focusing on her. See, these type of women right here, you could get her. If you're not doing that much, the thing is, once you see you not, man, you can't win. At the end of the day, you do better, she gonna complain. You're not doing better, she gonna complain. Women gonna complain. Guys, at the end of the day, women gonna complain. It's just in their nature. They're gonna complain. You do well, you don't got time for her. You're not doing well, why you in her face 24/7? You get what I'm saying? Let's go.
Be able to do. Some guy might come up and be like on some, oh, you live alone or you're Miss Independent. As I always say, if you're finding men in the wild, they are probably wild. They're kind of like the Pokemons that are gonna like jump out of the Pokeball. Like they're not gonna get caught. Gotta catch them all. Pokemon.
All right, we're done with that. We're done with that, y'all. We're going to go to this other video real quick. Hold on a second. We're going to hear what this lady has to say. Hold on a second. All right, there we go. Let's see what this lady has to say. We're going to go a little bit with her. I ain't going to be too long. All right, here we go.
The best time to date is when you're in a financial rut. Let me explain. So today I'm going to talk about something most men are too afraid to admit. Dating when your bank account is looking like a ghost town. Yep, I'm going there. And no, this isn't about gold diggers or financial stability. It's about something a little deeper than that. So, if you've been avoiding putting yourself out there because your wallet feels light, you're probably making a mistake that could cost you more than just money. In today's video, we'll discuss the rules of dating women when you're broke, how to build confidence while you're broke, and I'll also share a confidence test that many people use all the time to determine their confidence level.
All right, let's get to it.
It's easy to think, well, what's the point of dating anyway? You'll start to avoid relationships, not because you don't want love, but because you're afraid you'll look inadequate. And I'm sure that this sounds familiar to you because you're watching this video. Here's the thing though, you're not alone. I mean, most men tie their sense of worth directly to their ability to provide. It's a natural narrative men have been fed since birth. Real men are financially stable, right? But here's what no one tells you. This belief can actually sabotage your love life and your personal growth. When you tell yourself, I can't date until I'm financially ready, you're actually feeding into a toxic cycle, my 2 cents. You're convincing yourself that you're only available when your wallet is full, which...
Oh my gosh. I hear what she's saying. The question is if she's dealing with a guy that's not making that much money. This is the concept that we have to deal with. Anyway, let's go.
Can destroy your confidence inadvertently. And here's the thing, this mindset doesn't just affect your dating life, it bleeds into everything, your friendships, your career, and even how you see yourself as a man. Now, let me be clear, I get it. Nobody wants to feel like they're not enough. You don't want to show up on a date and feel like you're under-delivering. But the truth is, the right woman for you isn't looking for perfection. She's looking for connection. And that connection doesn't cost a dime. But here's what you're forgetting. Dating isn't about proving you're rich. It's about proving you're worthy. And
yeah, she's right about that, proving you worthy. Yet, ma'am, with all due respect, no man feels right. That's what she's not getting. That's kind of like any man that's not doing well is not looking to date. I'm sorry. He's not looking to date. He's not trying to, talk to a woman like that because it's in a man's DNA to want to do well before he talks to a woman. And this is where I disagree with her. Unless he don't care, a guy that cares, it's not gonna take that chance.
worth has nothing to do with how much money you have. In fact, avoiding dating until you're financially stable can actually backfire because you miss out on valuable experiences that shape you into a better partner. Think about it. How are you supposed to learn about building emotional intimacy, effective communication, or even basic relationship dynamics if you're just sitting on the sidelines? Dating, even when your finances aren't perfect, is like practice. It helps you figure out what you want, how to navigate challenges, and how to show up authentically. And trust me, authenticity is far more attractive than money ever will be. Here's the truth.
I'm waiting to see if she's going to talk about control mechanisms because I could sense the control mechanisms right now.
The longer you wait to fix your finances, the harder it gets to put yourself out there. You'll start using money as a permanent excuse, and before you know it, you've built a wall around yourself that no woman can.
I would not tell the woman if I'm very successful like that. I would test her out doing regular things with her before she knows that I'm successful. You act like every man, when he becomes successful, use his wallet to get a woman's attention. There's far few between guys that do that. Not every man that does that. Not every man does that. That's assuming.
Can climb. And the saddest part is you'll miss out on meeting women who could have been perfect for you. Not because you weren't good enough, but because you didn't give yourself a chance to try.
What does healthy masculinity in 2025 look?
Oh gosh. Let's get out of this commercial.
something most people won't tell you. Dating when you're broke can be one of the most transformative experiences of your life. And I know it sounds counterintuitive, but hear me out. When you strip away the money and the materialism, you're left with what really matters, you. And that's where the magic happens. Let's break it down. When you're in a financial rut, you're forced to focus on things money can't buy. Things like creativity, personality, emotional connection. And trust me, those qualities are far more attractive than a fat wallet. Why? Because women remember how you make them feel and not how much you spend on them. The right kind of women, anyway. Now, let me tell you about something that happens when you date broke. You weed out the wrong women. If a woman only values you for what you buy, she's not worth your time.
That's the only thing you got correct. I agree with. I agree with that 100%. You could weed her out a lot quicker. The thing is, and it's their time in the market, Jessica. I mean, guys are going to try to get themselves well off before they take the chance with a woman. They may have a conversation there to see where it goes. We don't know what every man is doing. So look, everybody, thank you for tuning into the show. Shout out to Run It Up 360. Make sure you check out Forever Studio. I don't know what time he's going on tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? He'll party, he'll probably come on anytime. We don't know what time he's going to come on. So make sure y'all subscribe to his channel. Put the all notifications. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get on out of here. I got things to do. So shout out to Forever Studios, Run It Up 360, Keystone, Italian Still 100, Italian Mamba, and Corey. Thank you all for tuning in. This is a quick one. I'll catch you on the next one. We'll talk about the more DDG situation, during the week. I got so much to do, so much content to do. You know what I'm saying? I got to catch up too and stuff like that. Many of you going to be DDG soon. So when you get to that point, don't be surprised about the outcome. Brown boys, eat to the people, we the business.